Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. We are here today with none other than God and Satan in the one and only, the debate to end all debates about which one is better, God or Satan. God, you may go first, as the coin toss came up in your favor after a rather suspicious gravitational anomaly.
Thank you, Jeffrey. This whole thing is a ridiculous charade. I mean, obviously I'm better than Satan. I'm God.
Is that all?
No. I mean, it says that I'm good in my book. Literally, I'm not just good. I'm the good. The very meaning of good. Because I said so.
Can you maybe give some examples of some good things you've done?
Well, I created everything. You wouldn't be here if not for me. If you think that it's good that you're alive, well, I did that. You're welcome.
I see. Anything else?
No. If I say I'm good, then I'm good. You don't even have to think about it anymore. No analyzing actions, no philosophical implications. I said so. End of discussion.
Satan?
Told you, didn't I? Evil, excuse me, straight up evil. There's no question, I'm better, and off. Excuse me.
Satan, could you please refrain from tapping into the dark abyss during the debate?
That wasn't me.
It wasn't?
No, that's what I've been trying to say all this time. I'm just some fall guy, a scapegoat. I'm a common enemy people can point at, unite against, and express hate and fear toward, so that they can feel good about themselves and feel like they're on the right side. Sure. Believe the demon with the bat wings from the underworld rather than the literal creator of heaven, where suffering and evil cannot even exist. So smart. None of that is true.
What isn't true?
The perception of me as some sort of batwing creature from the underworld isn't even biblical. It comes from things like the Divine Comedy written by Dante and published in the year 1321. That depiction of the batwing demon that lives underground permeated popular culture, and the goat characteristics, like hooves and horns, were used to associate Satan with pagans to demonize them. Which is funny because it sort of makes Satan a literal scapegoat.
Okay, smartass, then who is the Satan of the Bible?
You. What? Yes. Satan was not originally meant as some specific character. In Hebrew, Satan just meant adversary or accuser, which isn't necessarily bad. And in fact, there are times in the Bible when even God is referred to as Satan, when he is the adversary of the Israelites. Or when he sends an angel to be an adversary, like when he sent an angel to stop Balaam in Numbers 22.
Do you have an example of God himself being referred to as Satan in the Bible?
Oh, this ought to be good.
Of course. 2 Samuel chapter 24 and 1 Chronicles chapter 21 both refer to the exact same event, with nearly identical verses in which the Lord commands David to take a census of Israel. In Samuel, it says that God did it, but in Chronicles, it says that Satan did it. It looks blatantly contradictory, but the truth is that both accounts are referring to God. It's just that he is described as an adversary of Israel, so God is called Satan.
Wow, God is literally called Satan in the Bible. God, would you like to respond?
Whatever.
So, let me get this straight. In the Old Testament, Satan is never an actual character?
Correct.
What about the serpent, huh? The serpent in the Garden of Evil. I mean Eden.
The word Satan is never used in Genesis. Later, Christians interpreted the serpent as a character called Satan. The idea was popularized in works like John Milton's Paradise Lost, which was published in 1667 and was very influential among Christians. It interprets the serpent as the character Satan, but there was no such character. In the actual Hebrew Bible, the talking serpent is just the talking serpent.
Okay, well, what about the book of Job?
In Job, the word uses ha-Satan, which means the accuser, and is never meant to be used as a proper name. In Job, it's actually a whole group of angels that come talk to God, and one of them is labeled as an accuser. That's not his name. It would be like writing a book wherein a student in a classroom full of students asks the teacher a question and readers mistranslate the book so that they think the word student is actually the kid's name. Like that's what his mother named him, and student is on his birth certificate. Ridiculous.
Well, in the New Testament, like in John chapter 8, verse 44, Satan is called the father of lies. So who are you going to trust? The father of truth, me, or the father of lies, Satan?
God, are you claiming that what Satan is saying about the Old Testament is not true?
Fifth Amendment.
So where did they get this idea that the word for adversary was referring to an entire separate, properly named evil character?
Zoroastrianism.
May bless you.
The Christians believe in the devil because of a pre-Islamic Persian religion?
Yep.
How is that possible?
During the Babylonian captivity, the Israelites were heavily influenced by Zoroastrianism, which had a separate entity for evil named Angra Mainyu, a character of darkness and chaos, whose nature is expressed as the lie, and his name is traditionally written upside down. He controlled a legion of demons and constantly worked to spoil the creation of the one uncreated and eternal supreme god Zoroastrians worshipped, called Ahura Mazda, the truth, who sends a virgin-born savior who raises the dead and is destined to defeat the evil one. A lot of that influenced the Israelites and later the Christians. You see, the Israelites were originally polytheists, believing in the high god El Elyon and his 70 children, which included the storm deity Yahweh. But the Babylonians were trying to unify under a single god, eventually becoming monotheistic, and that idea grew on the Israelites. They liked the idea of there being only one god instead of a pantheon, so they picked one that was the most relevant at the time. The storm god responsible for watering their crops, which meant life or death to them. This choice is reflected in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verses 7 through 9. So they turned the young, strong, warlike god Yahweh into the old fatherly type god that was El Elyon, and eliminated all the other gods. But you can still see references to the pantheon of gods in many of the original verses of the Hebrew Bible. Not only in Deuteronomy, but also, for instance, in Psalm 82, which reveals other gods as sons of the Most High. Yahweh was one of those sons.
So let me get this straight. Every time some Christian worships Yahweh, they're accidentally worshiping the wrong God, not the Most High. And every time they talk about the devil, they're accidentally referring to the wrong religion, one from ancient Iran.
Well, that's where the idea came from. Yes.
I get the feeling that a lot of Southern Baptists would not like the sound of that.
Wait a minute. There has to be an evil character. How could there be a good guy without a bad guy?
That sounds like the thinking of a child. Why do you need there to be a bad guy? Is that how you answer the problems of suffering and evil?
Well, yeah, I never wanted robots, you see. For people to be good, they have to have the capacity to do evil, which means that they'll sometimes pick evil. That's on them. And there has to be suffering in order for people to be able to do good things and appreciate good things. Moron.
Not according to you.
What? How so?
Well, at the beginning of this debate, you said you created heaven and that evil and suffering cannot exist there. That means a good place without evil and suffering can exist. If that's possible, why didn't you just create heaven and heaven alone? Isn't that what a perfectly good God would do? Why create a world that can be corrupted rather than a heaven alone that cannot be corrupted? Is everyone in heaven like robots?
No! I wanted to create people who could freely choose.
Freely choose good over evil?
Yeah.
The very first time you punished anybody, it was because they disobediently obtained the knowledge of good and evil. How could they choose good over evil if they didn't even know what they are? And why would you punish all of humanity for learning something you needed them to learn in the first place in order to accomplish your goal of giving them the freedom to choose?
I didn't, but what I mean is, if you do, I don't...
Can people who choose evil still get into heaven?
Well, yeah.
Then how do you determine they're worthy of heaven?
Well, it depends on whether they choose me.
But belief is a requisite of choice, and belief itself is involuntary. A person is either convinced or they're not, but they can't choose to be convinced. Therefore, disbelief in you is not a moral wrong, and it would be unjust to punish people for it. And that doesn't apply to just non-believers, but most people, because most people sincerely believe in other religions. That would mean you allowed evil to exist for a purpose that it doesn't actually fulfill. If it's possible for someone who chose more evil than good to get into heaven, well, it's also possible for someone who chose more good than evil to not get into heaven. Then what you're truly valuing is not the choice between good or evil. So the reason you say you allowed evil to exist doesn't really add up.
Turn off the cameras.
What?
Turn off the cameras.
But we're in the middle of a debate.
Out.
Excuse me?
Get out. I'd like to talk to the moderator alone.
Have it your way.
What's up, God?
Listen, we need to end this now.
But why?
Look, we need Satan.
What?
Yeah. People tend to unite when they have a common enemy. The worse the enemy, the better. Understand?
Well, yeah, I understand it could work out that way, but it can also be used to demonize people who don't deserve it, which can lead to war, oppression, genocide, and wait a minute. Demonize? Scapegoat? Horns? Hooves? Didn't Satan say... Wait, so you actually did create Satan for the very reasons she said you did?
Damn it! Jeffrey, look! I'm gonna unfreeze time and turn on the cameras, and you're gonna continue to moderate the debate like nothing happened. Got it?
Fine.
Look, the bottom line is this. I'm perfectly good, which is why you hate me. Because you are the epitome of evil. I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. I hate all that is good and holy because I'm evil. Pure evil. That's why I'm constantly trying to ruin everything for everybody. And that's why everyone should pick me over you. No! They should pick evil so that they will be miserable. Silence, demon. Listen up, everyone. All of your enemies, social, religious, political, etc., are with Satan. They're evil, pure evil, and they love evil. That's all you need to know about them. Never try to learn who they are or empathize with them in any way. Never try to understand them or see things from their perspective. Just know that they all worship Satan over there, who is pure evil. I'm pure evil. Turn off your brain and call them Satan worshippers. Oh, I almost forgot. Moderator, doesn't this mean that I won the debate? It appears Satan has conceded by admitting that he is evil, while I am good. Moderator?
Yes, you have obviously won the debate, and by quite a large margin, I must say.
Me? Oh, thank you.
Yes, and you are quite handsome as well.
That is true. You are pretty good looking. Please stop. You know how I don't like to be worshipped.
A couple weeks ago, God's social media manager uploaded a video.
Without permission.
Yeah, without permission. It was about new evidence for God.
But it was fake.
Yeah, it was just satire on how religious people treat history. In it, he asked you to post your favorite verses from the very New Testament. And
There's no such thing as the very New Testament, moron.
yeah, that was part of the satire.
Oh, I'm gonna have words with that incredibly good-looking son of a bitch. You best believe.
Anyway, he contractually obligated us to show some of the best comments of people's favorite verses from the very New Testament. We don't have the time for all of them, but these were hand-picked by Dark Matter himself.
Hand-picked? Ooh, big deal.
God, is that jealousy I detect?
No.
But doesn't the Bible call you jealous?
Did the Bible call you jealous?
Thank you very much to all our patrons and YouTube members who contribute to the channel. You're all a huge help and make it possible to keep going.
Don't forget that 10% of your income goes to God.
You mean the pastor's Cadillac?
What?
Nothing. God, I don't think this is exactly the best place for tithing, if you know what I mean.
Oh, hang on. I just had an idea.
Great.
Social media is really important to get the word out, right?
Right.
Well, let's kick it up to 50%.
You want to increase tithing from 10% to 50%?
No, just for the social media guy, Dark Matter. Listen up. Everyone, be sure to send no less than 50% of your income to Dark Matter 2525.
Don't you think that's a bit excessive?
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, we're super grateful for whatever you contribute.
47% of your income after taxes, or an eternity in hell. Pick one.
God,